We are going to talk about the nutrients and what do they do for our body. In the previous session, like we had talked about that how there are different nutrients in our food which we eat. What were those? Those were carbohydrate, vitamins, minerals, fat, protein, and also dietary fibers like your roughage and water. So all of these together form a very important part of our food material, and now in this session we are going to talk about that what is the function of each of these nutrients, right? So first of all, let's talk about carbohydrate. So what is carbohydrate? They provide energy to our body, right? So obviously we know that human beings or any animal for that matter is very active. They move from one place to the other and they perform various functions. So what you do is you go to school, you study, you eat, right? Then you play and all. Where do you get this energy from? So you get your energy from the carbohydrate that is present in your food, right? So carbohydrate is one of the most essential parts of the nutrient, right? So all of the nutrients are important, but carbohydrate is something which provides you energy to work in your daily life, right? To function properly in your daily life, right? So it provides energy so that we are able to perform various activities, right? So they are also known as the primary source of energy, right? So primary, what do you understand by the primary source of energy? That means that whenever body is in the requirement of your energy, carbohydrate would be the first thing the body will utilize, right? So there are basically two types of carbohydrate. First is your starch, right? We have studied this in the previous session, and then you have your sugar. So both of these are, there are various types, but both of these are quite common, whereas starch is found in various, food materials like your potato, right? Then papaya, right? The carbohydrates are found in mango, right? Then you have rice. These are certain examples, and various other food material as well. So these are certain examples in which you find carbohydrates. Like I said, there are two main carbohydrates that we usually in general term talk about. One is the starch, which is present in potato and rice, and then you have the sugar, which is usually present in the sweet, right? Which is usually present in your sweet fruits like papaya and mango, right? So this is the sugar, which is, if you compare that, out of these two, which is more energy giving, that means out of these two, which is the one which will, if you eat it, instantly you will get energy, that is sugar. It is the instant source of energy, and that's why if you must have heard that whenever a person is feeling weak, usually what people do is they give the person glucose, right? And what is it? When you drink it, it is sweet in taste, right? So this is something which is instant source of energy for us, right? So glucose again is a type of carbohydrate and it's sweet in taste. So all these things, all these materials which contain carbohydrate are basically energy providing food material for us and form a very important part of the body, right? Then the other nutrient that you have is fats. Now fats again is something which is, fats are something again which are very, very important because they are also energy providing nutrients, right? So these are also energy giving food. So fats are also energy giving food. They provide more energy as compared to the carbohydrate. So when you think about say 2 grams of carbohydrate and 2 grams of fat, you will find that fat is something which will provide you more energy. But the difference is that carbohydrate is the primary source, fat is the secondary source, and whenever there is, if there is a presence of carbohydrate and fat both in your food, what will happen? So if there is presence of carbohydrate and fat in your food, what will happen? The body will utilize carbohydrate first, and what it will do, it will store the fat, right? And what it will do, that this fat will be stored under your skin, right? So in this way we see that how this is the primary source and this is the secondary source for your energy. Whenever there is an absence of carbohydrate, then fat is utilized for the energy, right? Because carbohydrate and fat both provide energy, these together are called as the energy giving food. So anything which contains carbohydrate or it contains fat is called as the energy giving food, energy providing food, right? So what are the examples? Example is different kinds of oils and groundnut, right? Groundnut is also there groundnut is again rich in protein as well. Then you have different like till, for example. So oils and ghee, butter, all these are examples of the food material which contain fats in them. Another important nutrient is protein. So what are proteins? Proteins are complex organic compounds made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur. Another nutrient which is very important for our body is protein. Now protein is something which is required by our body for growth and repair. We know that we are made up of, the human beings are made up of different cells, right? And every time we are working, we are actually, there is something or the other which is being damaged, and protein actually helps in repairing our body. Also it helps in growth, right? So what is protein needed for? It is needed for growth and repair of the body, and that is the reason why the foods which contain protein are called as the body building foods, right? Because they help in the growth. So if you think about it, the function of protein is of growth and repair. So it is usually given, it is always suggested that protein should be in high amount in the people who are sick, or the people, or I should say the children who are growing. So growing children need more amount of protein because their body is being built, right? So all these these protein rich food should be given to the sick people as well as the children who are growing, also to the old people, so that again they can have these nutrients which help them in maintaining their health, right? So where all we find it, again, like we know that proteins are found both in the plant as well as in the animal resources. The example being pulses, right? Meat, fish, egg, right? In all these things we find protein, right? So whenever we are thinking about eating more and more of protein, these are the things we should increase in our diet, right? Then again, another important nutrient is vitamins. Now this is one of the major nutrients which is always talked about because this nutrient is protective in nature, right? Whenever we are talking, if you remember, when we were talking about nutrients, we said that we needed food for two things. One was the growth and the energy that we need for working, and for protection against the diseases, to develop our immunity. So this particular nutrient, that is vitamin, as well as the other nutrient, that is mineral, is important for us to develop such kind of immunity against the diseases, right? So vitamins are again complex organic compounds and are called as the protective food, right? As the name suggests, protective food, because they help us in protecting our body against diseases, right? So they help in protecting our body against various kinds of diseases. Vitamins also help in keeping our eyes, bones, teeth and gums healthy. So in further sessions we will see that if there is any deficiency in vitamin, that what kind of diseases we will face, right? So there are different kinds of vitamins which are useful for us. We have vitamin A, we have vitamin B, we have vitamin E, we have K, D, C. All these are the vitamins which we require in our daily diet, and you must have heard about these vitamins, right? So there are different food materials which provide us with vitamin and minerals. First of all, when we talk about vitamins, we have foods like your radish, you have carrot, then you have all the citrus fruits like your oranges, right? All these, tomatoes, all these are the food materials which are rich in vitamin resources. Also it is present in fish. So As we can see over here, there are different kinds of vitamins, right? So we, like I have already told, that these are the different varieties of vitamins that we need. So our body actually need all these vitamins in small quantities, right? So every vitamin is important. So when we talk about vitamin A, when we talk about vitamin B complex, we can C, D, E, K, every vitamin has one or the other function, right? So if there is a, if we see that, like I said, that it takes care of our, these vitamins take care of our eyes, bones, teeth and gums. So every vitamin has its own function. So let's see what are the different functions of a particular vitamin. First of all, vitamin A keeps our skin and eyes healthy. So there are different sources also from where we will get vitamin A, because obviously, like I said, because it takes care or it helps in keeping our skin and eyes healthy, it is very, very important for us to include it in our diet. So where do we get vitamin A from? We get it from papaya, right? We get it from mango and carrot, right? So these are some examples from where we get the vitamin A. Then we have the vitamin C, which helps the body to fight against many diseases, right? So usually we find the vitamin C in citrus food, that means the food which tastes a little sour, and those are the foods like amla, right? You have lemon, guava, right, etc. So these are the different fruits in which you will find vitamin C. Then you have vitamin D, which is again helpful for our body to use calcium for bone and teeth. So if we do not have vitamin D, then the mineral, that is calcium, will not be important for us. We will not be able to utilize it. That is why it is very, very important that we have or we include vitamin D in our diet. So what is the source of vitamin D? So vitamin D is obtained from milk and milk products, from egg, and also our body is capable of producing vitamin D to some extent with the help of sun, right? So when we are standing in the sun, then also our body is capable of making vitamin D, and if there is deficiency of all these, we will find that our body is not healthy. Right, so again, this, like I said, it is a protective food. All these food are considered as protective food because they contain vitamin in them. Then again we have another nutrient, that is minerals. Now minerals again are required in small quantities, but again they are very, very important for our body. They are needed in our body in small amounts, but they are essential chemical compounds for growth as well as for carrying out certain body functions. They also help in the protection of our body against against the diseases. Apart from that, they are utilized in various purposes. For example, we have different kinds of minerals are present, like iron, we have calcium, right? Then we have iodine, right? All these are important vitamins. All these are important minerals, right? So we know that iron we get from green vegetables, right? Usually, for example, your spinach. Then we have calcium, which is present in your milk, right? Then we have iodine, which is usually present in the salt and different other food products. So this is certain examples from where we get the minerals, right? So these are the main minerals. Also we have the minerals. Also we have phosphorus, right? This again is an important mineral which is utilized, or which is which is important for the body to perform various functions. This is also present in small amount. Like in the previous session, we had seen in the activity that we performed that one food material actually contains a combination of various types of food material, of nutrients, right? So in some cases the nutrients, one of the nutrient is more, whereas one of the nutrient is less. For example, if we talk about rice, we know that rice is abundant in carbohydrate. So that is why it is called as the energy providing food. If we talk about, say, egg, so we know that egg is rich in protein. So that again is what? It is a bodybuilding food. So in this way, we have different food materials which are rich in different nutrients and are utilized accordingly, right? So this is how it is important for us to maintain a proper diet. Now, apart from this, there is a nutrient which actually doesn't have a function which is, say, protective in nature, or it doesn't provide you energy, but it is very, very important. Why? Because it adds to the bulk of the food, right? So, what is that? That is the dietary fiber or roughage. Right, so the dietary fibrous content of our food is called as the roughage, and it is obtained from the plant material. That means the source of fiber is what? All the plant material. This fiber is not present in your animal product, right? So all the plants usually are rich in the fiber. Then roughage, why is it important for us? Although it does not provide any nutrient to our body, but it is an essential component for our food, and it adds to its bulk. So it provides us, if the, for example, if we talk about, say, avocado, so that is a fruit which is rich in a dietary fiber, so it adds to the bulk of that particular food. This also helps in the proper digestion of the food, right? So if your body it is lacking in the fibers, or the food that you're eating is lacking in the fiber, what will happen? You will feel constipated. Your digestion will not work properly. That is why dietary fibers form a very important part of the nutrients, right? So when we are taking in food, we should always remember to include enough roughage, enough fiber in our diet. And we know what is the source of the fiber. All the plant materials are the source of the fiber, right? So these help in getting rid of the undigested food from our body, right? So we are able to maintain a healthy digestive system with the help of the roughage. Then another important component of the food is water. Now we know that 70% of our body is made up of water, and water performs various functions in our body, from transporting the food from one place to the other, and from also excretion is done with the help of the water. That is why proper amount of water should be maintained in the body. If suppose the water is lost, say for example when a person is suffering from loose motion, what will happen? A lot of water will be lost from the body, and the person will suffer from dehydration. So that is why water is again included in our body, so that we do not we remain healthy, and this 70% is maintained in our body, right? So it helps to absorb nutrients from the food. So whatever nutrient that we are eating are absorbed in the body with the help of water. Also, it helps in throwing out some of the waste from the body in the form of urine and sweat. So excretion, that is whatever is unuseful or is not useful for our body, anything which is not useful is thrown out of the body with the help of water in the form of urine and sweat. So this is how different minerals and nutrients and the fat, carbohydrate and protein, vitamins, all of these together help us in maintaining good health, and it helps us in performing our day-to-day function. So when we talk about water, what is the source? Usually whenever we are thirsty, we drink water as it is. Apart from that, we drink liquid like your tea, coffee, all of these also contain water. Plus we also add water in our food, right? So if you, we can conduct an activity wherein you can take the food like lemon and tomato, and what you can do is you can, with the help of your mother, what you can do that you can cut it open, right? So you will observe that when you cut a tomato or you cut a lemon, you will find that your hands will be wet. Why? Because lemon, tomato and different other foods also contain water in them, right? So when you cut them open, so you will find that your hands will become wet. You can also do this experiment with different other foods. Take any other fruit like, say for example, watermelon, and cut them, right, with the help of your mother. And then you will see that, okay, again while cutting watermelon, your hands will become wet. So in this activity, I would like to tell you that you should go home, take all these things like for example your different fruit materials, and see that which of these food material actually contains a lot of water in them. So now from this you can understand that apart from the water we drink through certain liquids or directly the water that we drink, these fruits and vegetables also contain water, and thus it helps us in maintaining the water balance in our body, right? So do this activity at the home and make a list of all the fruits and vegetables that contain abundant amount of water in them. right? So now let's move on. And once you have understood all of this, let's move on to the question and answers.